Cashflow Diary Podcast, episode 40.
Congratulations, you showed up. Give yourself a high five in celebration of your success. Welcome to the Cashflow Diary, where new and experienced investors come to take confident action towards their goals. Your host is a family man, a real estate entrepreneur, investor, coach, and instructor. As a master facilitator of Robert Kiyosaki's Cashflow 101 game, he's inspired many to begin their journey into creating cash flow for themselves and their family. And now, here he is to offer you the tools required to earn the income desired. Your cash flow coach, Jay Massey.
All right. Well, it is that time of New Year, and basically that's what this is going to be. It's going to be the New Year episode for you, and I'm hoping that, next year is a new year for you. And it's not a year where you have the same experiences, You may have heard me say once or twice how some people say that they have 20 years of experience, and what they really mean is that they've done the same thing for 20 years. So they don't have 20 years of experience. They have 1 year experience that they've repeated 20 times. And I don't want that to be the case for you. I often pray all the time for new experiences every year. And I want every year to be different than last year, and every year to be bigger than last year, and every year to contain, more challenges, more ups, more downs, different things. I don't want anything to be the same, quote unquote. I want everything to always be improving and better and different, especially myself. And that way this year will be new. We've never had a January 1, 2014. And whatever that is, you've got to be ready to deal with whatever that is on that day. Who knows? The point is each year you want it to be new. At least I do. Well, welcome for those of you who are joining us for the first time. And if this is your first time, speaking of which, you may want to listen to episode number 1 to understand a little bit about the background and format of the show. But more importantly than that, you're probably interested in something for free, or more importantly, something that you could use to go out there and begin your real estate investing. That's why we've set up learninvestingnow.com. I've created a number of different courses, etc. And whatever one is there right now is there for you, so that you can go and get it. Learninvestingnow.com. I do know that right now we're running through a series of coaching calls. People ask me all the time, hey Jay, how do you raise private capital? How can you do it? How do you get access to money, etc., etc., etc.? And we are spending right now at least a number of weeks going through that process, investing time, showing you how to do it. And all you got to do is show up. You just go over to learninvestingnow.com, and you're able to, put your name in the box and being able to get, access to the coaching calls literally live. I'm right there, and can answer your questions. You download your ebook, your manual, get your questions answered, examine deals, all kinds of things. But we're doing that right now, so hopefully that's of interest to you if you want to have access for your deals. And I should also say that we spend some time also going over how to raise capital for things other than real estate, because understand, raising capital is not exclusively needed for real estate. It's needed in every industry, whether that be, you've got a music project that you want to do, you've got a business you want to start that may or may not be inside of real estate. Doesn't matter. The point is, raising capital can often be part of the key to unlock everything that you're looking for. Anyway, so let's talk about some things that hit me today. Very specifically, there was a quote that this entire episode is pretty much hinging on, and just said, you know what, I think I need to make sure that we document, and I put this into the diary, for lack of a better way of putting it. And so the cash quote for this particular episode, I don't know who it's attributed to. Maybe you do. If you do, great. But it came to me today, and it says the following: doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. And I heard it for the first time today. Maybe you've heard it thousands of times. But I was like, wow, that's crazy. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Now, when I think about that, it just simply says that We talk ourselves out of taking any action, let alone the wrong actions, in so many ways. And I know I've done that, in so many times, and it's been a process learning how to crucify I'll call it the demon of doubt, if you will, the thing that sabotages us from actually beginning to take that action. So for some of you, taking action may look like downloading this podcast for the first time. Maybe you just got your first Apple device, and I'm one of the first people you're listening to, and you're like, "What is this? And what's going on?" I say, "Hang on, I'll take you on a ride." That much I can promise you, and we can figure it out together on the way through. To helping you accomplish some great things. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. So, and it got me to thinking, a couple of questions and some things that I just want to share with you. Let me ask you this question. What is the difference between believing something and knowing it? Simply believing something and knowing it. What is the difference between those two? I submit for your acceptance that it's one word. Experience. That's the difference between believing something is true and knowing it's true, is having some experience with it. Now, if that's the case, where does experience come from? Does experience come from reading the book and watching the seminar and listening? Or does experience come from listening to other people's stories necessarily about what they did and how it went? Does experience come from those places, or does it come from action? Like, for example, some of you out there and you know how to cook. You know how to actually cook well, and you've probably been doing a lot of it lately, right? And maybe you even enjoy it, or maybe it's your profession. It doesn't matter. The point is, the experience. If all you did was read the cookbook, how much experience do you have? You may have never tried a particular recipe before, but you believe you could. Yeah, I can make that. Of course I can make that. But you don't really know. And there's a difference. Even if it's ingredients you've worked with before, even if it feels hyper familiar and you're like, yeah, I've done it, but I've just not, I've done something like that. I've done things similar. There's a different level of understanding that you gain once you have experience. And I know some of you know exactly what I'm talking about right now. And you're shaking your head. You're like, yeah. But let me ask you this question. Is all and every action you and I going to take going to allow us to receive our desired outcome? Now, be truthful. Every action? Of course not. So does it mean, therefore, that the actions we've taken are of no value or are worthless? I don't think so. So if for instance, I'm in the process of learning to become an investor and I believe I can, but I'm not quite sure, well, clearly the solution is to begin acting like one. All right, that's good. But does it mean every action that I take will be the ones that will result in the desired outcome, this new thing I want to see happen and manifest within my life? No, it doesn't mean that. But does it mean that that action had no value? No. But often that's not our response. We often say, yeah, then that action was worthless and I don't want to waste any quote unquote time going down that road. Can you just teach me and show me the greatest shortcut? Well, let me hopefully adjust something when it comes to taking action that doesn't necessarily result in the direction or the outcome that you're looking for. Why do I say it has value? I say it has great value because now at least you can say that you know a way to not do it. See, before you believed that you could do it, and that's good, and you thought anything you whatever way you thought of or the way that you were thinking, you thought this would result in the desired outcome. But now you have a shot at saying, well, at least I know one way it doesn't work. You say, what's the value in that? Well, because I didn't get what I want. Well, you've actually moved from believing it won't work to knowing it won't work because you're not really sure, and you're moving through this process. And here's okay, I'm going to go completely ridiculous on you for a second. And if nothing else, if you never tried any other way to do that something, whatever that is, you tried one way to write an offer and it didn't work. You tried one way to ask somebody for private capital and it didn't work. You tried one way to drive a car and it didn't work. You tried one way to walk and it didn't work. You tried one way to listen to a podcast and it didn't work. You tried whatever. So if nothing else, and you never tried another way to do that something again, you could make a career, and I mean this, you could make a career letting people know that A, the result that they want is still possible. You don't know how to get it, but you do know one way it won't work. And I guarantee you people would still listen. Here's why I say that. Even though you may doubt me, that's fine. Here's why I say that. Have you ever seen titles of books or ebooks or things like the following? Think about this. When you see a title that reads something like 12 things you must know before, or a title that reads and starts with 7 things to avoid or else, or the number one thing I learned from, you know what all those titles, the way that they start, have in common? They're all stories about what didn't work. And now, be it in an ebook, be it in an actual physical book, I mean, Before You Quit Your Job, that's a title, I believe, of one of Robert Kiyosaki's books, right? What you should know before you quit your job. Well, the reason, I'm almost willing to bet that the reason that book was even written was because he or someone he knew quit their job way too soon, and they found out all the things that they wish they knew before they quit their job. See, they had taken some action, they got some experience, they were like, this is not going the way that I had hoped, and now they know some things. And they wrote an entire book about all the things that they learned from the experience that they had, and then you and I go and buy that so that we can, quote unquote, avoid the bad parts of experience, because we don't find any value in it. But there's so much value in getting things wrong. And the thing that was interesting to me about the quote earlier is that doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. And I, having experienced failure many times and in many different areas, be that, with my wife, be that with my kids. I mean, good Lord, how many fathers out there can, you're like, oh my goodness. You're like, I didn't do that one right. And how many times have you had to apologize to your spouse? And heaven forbid, how many times have you gone back to the negotiating table and gone, I didn't get that deal. I didn't get that deal. And then later you realized why you didn't get that deal. I mean, anyway, we can go a long time on all that. I have a relatively limited experience with, everyone in the world, so to speak. But I know that for many people that I've run into, especially when they're on the journey of becoming a better real estate investor, any failure challenges them enough to quit. And I've seen a lot of people quit because they failed at something. They had a failure event. And remember this, failure is an event. It's not who you are. It's not a person. Failure is an event. But because they have a failure event, they quit. And this quote is telling me that doubt kills even more dreams than failure. And I've seen lots of failure. I'm like, wow. People won't even step up to the plate to at least go fail. I don't want that to be you. Not at all. So here's the takeaway for you for this particular section. Anyone can say they believe. That's okay. That's awesome. Anyone can say that. You can say that right now. All your friends are going to say that. You're going to start making resolutions, right? I believe I'm going to make more money. I'm going to lose weight. Great. Anyone can say that. I'm not saying don't say that. Here's what I'm asking. I'm asking you to show everyone you believe, not with your words, declarations, affirmations, or well thought out resolutions, but with your dogged, patient, and pleasantly persistent action. That's what I'm asking you to do. That's your takeaway. Don't just talk about it, be about it, if you will. All right. Now, some of you may have noticed that the previous episode lacked a cash flow question. Anyway, so what does that mean? That means We're gonna make up for it by giving away not one, but two books this time. And if you're wondering what book, it's my upcoming book, Cash Flow Creation Systems, where I literally put in my entire business plan. You want to know how to do wholesaling, you want to know how to do multifamily, as well as raising private capital, because these are all the things that I do, as well as commercial real estate. It's all in the book. How we were able to put it together, how we were able to do a lot of deals in a very, very short period of time, and be able to earn hundreds of thousands, dare I say millions, and affect lots of lives in a very, very short period of time. So, if you want that book, and I'll sign it, you got to answer the question. And when you answer the question, you can send in your answer to 800-689-1764, 800-689-1764. And again, I remind you that that's the number we've set up because you guys are all around the world, okay? So it's a number to set up. You have to leave a message if you want us to call you back, all right? But more importantly, if you want, you got to actually say something once the voicemail picks up, and leave your address as well. Otherwise, we can't mail you a book through the email. It just doesn't work that way, all right? Or you can email your answer in to cashflowquestion@cashflowdiary.com. So this question, though, I think many of you will get, because I'm dropping hints all throughout this episode. So if you didn't hear the answer in the first section, you'll hear it in the second. But what is the most important thing to improve for you to achieve success in 2014, or for that matter, any year? What is the most important thing to improve for you to achieve success in 2014, or as I said, for that matter, any year? And I look forward to receiving your answers. So feel free to go ahead and send those in. Now, let me get back to this. Got a question. Or just, I guess, more or less, I don't know, a statement. Something that an observation, if you will, something that I've realized. The path to what we desire, the path to what I desire, has involved more about allowing the path to unfold before me than it has been about trying to control or manipulate or events to happen in the way or in the order or in how I believe they should unfold. So I guess one of the best ways that I know of to possibly, illustrate this is just to share with you how on earth I got involved in, real estate in the first place. Because I never woke up. Maybe you did, but I did not wake up one day saying, hey, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go take on the world of real estate. That did not happen. Real estate came into my life as a solution, as it does for many people, and as I hope it does for you, and more importantly, as I hope you learn to provide that solution for those that you transact real estate with. But what ended up happening very, very simply was, my wife and I experienced some medical challenges. And if you want more details on our history, feel free to go back to, like I said, episode 1 at the beginning. And as a solution, or as those medical challenges got worse, we had to start making decisions. Things like, hey, do I keep on the electricity or do I buy food? And we eventually were squatting in our bank-owned property, having no place to stay. And things didn't begin to turn around until we improved how we perceived ourselves and our situation. And I learned that, failure is an event. It's not a person. So none of that, though, however, means that was our goal. Remember, the goal was never to end up in that situation. We thought we were doing the best we could at the best level of thinking that we had to be able to create the results that we wanted. Here's what had happened, though. Through that period of things being stripped away and us having to focus on one thing, in this case, being real estate as a way to generate income, it began to create a determination to see one thing through. And through seeing that one thing through, mind you, Uh, it Many different levels of thinking had to happen. But here's what I thought, what I still find very interesting. I thought that the way to success through real estate for us was going to be through a strategy known as short sales. Now, that doesn't mean short sales don't work. It just means I can't work a short sale. That's what it means now. That's what I thought, though. My wife, on the other hand, said, no, I think wholesaling is a better strategy for you. And I don't know if you want to say it's one of those rare incidences or whatnot, but I listened to what her input was, and I was like, okay, let's go find out what this wholesaling thing is all about. And lo and behold, it fit my personality better. It fit my work style better. It fit so many things better. And although the average profit per transaction was significantly less than what was possible at that time in Southern California with short sales, because it was something that I would actually follow through on. It became the path that has led to here. Because from wholesaling, I went through many different iterations of wholesaling, to the point to where I started buying groups of houses at a time, and then I would resell those individually to give people their first shot at houses. So I would buy, I don't know, 5, 10, 15, 20 houses at a time in one geographic area, set it all up nice, give seller financing, have the property professionally managed, all that stuff in place, and be able to give people a nice return on their capital with very, very little, quote unquote, invested, especially in terms of time, because we would set up the entire system, and all you had to do was come to the table with some money. And it didn't even matter if you had a job or credit, but it's what we did. That's not the path I saw myself doing. I mean, people were able to buy houses for $10,000 or less. It was crazy. Well, $10,000 down, including our fee and all this other stuff. But here's the point. I never saw that as part of the path. I thought what we were going to do was buy about 100 houses, keep them, and just be done. That was my thought. Well, I've learned a few things since then, and obviously we've gone well past 100 units now, but the point is, what I thought was the path just wasn't the path. And being open to having my path adjusted, not necessarily by me, not even by choice, but by circumstance, if you will. I would say God, but for some of you, circumstance is the word you're more willing to accept. And all I want to say is be open to it, because you don't know, and follow it, because it's there. And here's the thing that I do believe. I do believe strongly now. Now, having helped a number of people with some various individual coaching and group coaching stuff that I've done, I now believe that I can help you get there. And that I believe that because I'm taking action, because anyone can say that they believe. It takes a whole different level of belief to actually put yourself out there. And that's kind of where I am today and what I'm learning through this process. Because for a while, I doubted that I could help anyone at all. And then it took one or two brave souls to actually track me down and say, help me. I believe you can help me even if you don't. And then it took some time and some convincing, but having seen them achieve some success, it's been like, maybe I can do this thing. And all I'm saying is the path to what you desire involves so much more about allowing it to unfold before you. It's not something that I would have ever scripted. I promise you, I wouldn't have scripted squatting in bank-owned property. I wouldn't have scripted puncturing my lung. I wouldn't have scripted my wife almost dying a number of times. I wouldn't have scripted, having to deal with moldy property, water leaks, and evictions. And I wouldn't have scripted having to deal with most of the stuff that, for many of you, you're like, oh my God, I hope this never happens. Would have never scripted any of that. But that's irrelevant today. The point is that all of that is now experience, and that experience is now valuable, and I get to market that experience and use that experience to the benefit of myself, to my investors, as well as to the tenants. And those are the things that I want you to hear. That's what's going to happen for you as you go out there to take some action towards your goals. So, here is the entire point of this episode right now. I've said all of this, and you've listened this far, so congratulations. I've said all of this, and you've listened this far for me to ask you to do one thing. I want you to invest 10 minutes right now and write down the answer to this one question. What would you do in 2014 if you knew you could not fail? If you knew you could not fail, what would you do? Write as many things as you can. Let it feel and flood your mind and write it down. However, stop after 10 minutes and only write down things for the coming year. Then, I want you to pick one, just one, and post both the question, what would you do in 2014 if you knew you could not fail? So post the question and your one answer on Facebook or whatever you like to use. And then challenge your friends to do the same. So what that would look like is you would write the question, then you'd write your answer, and then you would ask your friends to copy and paste and do the same thing. Now, I think you'll be surprised at the results you receive. And here's what I believe. The results will serve you to squash any remaining doubt.
Thank you for investing your time with Jay Massey and the Cash Flow Diary. When you have a moment, please visit iTunes and leave a positive comment about the show. And go now to our website, cashflowdiary.com, to take advantage of our free business building course, Cash Flow Foundation. Gain the knowledge, understanding, and skill that will teach you how to never need a job again. Until next time.